Hello everyone, Charmancine here. Okay, so today I'm doing an in-depth overview of the Syslog protocol. We're not going to be talking about how to build a Syslog server or any of that. We're just going to be talking about the Syslog protocol. Syslog is a widely used protocol that you will run into in production systems from networks big and small. So Syslog is in my opinion is a very important protocol to understand and to wrap your head around on the differences between Syslog and say Snmp polling. Uh, Briefly, Snmp polling, as we've talked about, let's say with monitoring with cacti or solar winds, Snmp polling, that technology has the server reach out to the device, ask a question, say, what's the current usage on this port, and then takes a snapshot of the statistics, brings it back. Normally, it's used to graph that data. Now, the thing is that that's a very heavy way of doing things. But for things like bandwidth utilization and things like that, or CPU, uh, that's the way we need to collect that data. But for other things, so say you log into a router or to a switch or a security event, um, fan failure, something like that, we want to know right away. One, we want to know instantly, and we want a lighter way of doing that. So that's where Syslog comes in. Syslog actually the protocol is set up so that a message can be sent from the device to a Syslog receiver. And so it's a very simple protocol that's been around for a long time and is widely used. So I've never run into a piece of network gear that doesn't support it, and I certainly have never run into a server that doesn't support Syslog. So the Syslog actual protocol, like I said, it is very simple. That it really only has a couple of things in it. So one is a facility ID. So some of these facility IDs can be changed based on the configuration of your box, and some of them are just hard coded depending on what it is. And so some of these facility IDs are like facility ID 0 is kernel level messages, right? For example, 7 is news or network news subsystem, things like that, or 13 is security, so audit logs, stuff like that. And then there's a severity level that's included. So severity level goes from 0, severity emergency, right? So the description is system is unusable, all the way to 7, which is a debug, which is normally used for troubleshooting. So you'll use that with your hardware vendor or your development team, things like that. And then the message. So if we actually look at the packet layout, packet is very simple packet. So we have a timestamp, the host name, the packet header, right? Severity, facility, and the message. So very simple protocol, but highly useful. So think of firewalls. Each time a connection is made to a firewall, so some SIEM or SIM platforms, right? You'd send all of that data each time a connection is created via Syslog to that platform, or Splunk, or there's 101 different Syslog based systems that collect that data and help you monitor your network and the security of your network, functionality of the network, right? So before we dive into a quick demo and really see this happen in practice, another thing too is to remember that this protocol, Syslog, typically operates at UDP, the UDP level. Now, so when one of these packets is sent using UDP, the packet will be sent. If that packet drops in transmission for some reason, the server, the receiving server will not get the message, and the originating device sending that message will not resend that message unless that event happens again. Very important to know the difference between TCP and UDP when it comes to something like this. And so there are devices that do support Syslog over TCP that will actually resend that message. Now, they're few and far between, and they're typically higher end devices or server software, but it does exist. So one other way to really illustrate this. So I have a wireless router here. So I log into the GUI of the wireless router. Wireless router generates a message say, "Hey, user's logged in." It creates that packet that we saw using port 514 UDP, sends it over to the server. As you can see, it's a one-way street. This box sends a message to this box. This box does not send a reply or anything unless you're using TCP Syslog. So TCP Syslog would issue a TCP Syslog message to here. Oh, something went wrong. Okay, now they're kind of talking back and forth. And as I said just earlier, very few and far between seeing an implementation like that, but it does exist. So let's take a quick peek at how this operates in practice. Okay, so I have a older router, so excuse the in my test environment, that is. So excuse the use of telnet. Okay, and I'm going to log in to my lab Syslog server. Okay, so on the Cisco router, the configuration is really simple. So I have logging and then an IP address. Okay, so this IP address is, well, it's actually this one, is here. Okay, and to actually configure Syslog forwarding on this Cisco 3750, you actually don't have that many options. So it's just logging host. Okay, 194 in this case. And that's it. Right? You have the ability to modify the facility if you want. But you don't necessarily have to, because it's already, the Cisco iOS has already kind of created a predetermined facility there, and you're actually going to see it in a moment, because what we're going to do is actually look at the message as it comes in. So var log messages. Oh, it's actually right there. Okay, so you can see that the packet has come in, and pretty simple, right? The actual message. So it's the host ID. It's giving me the time that it happened, the message, and itself. But let's look at the actual packet as it's coming in. Okay. So TCP dump port 514. Let's look at the whole packet. Conf T and N. And I should get a... Oh, there it goes. Here's the actual packet. Okay, so the packet starts here. Okay, so we have the packet header. Okay, so 192.168.1.253 has sent it over to the Syslog server on the UDP protocol. It set the facility to local 7. We did not configure that. Remember, that's automatically in the iOS, the Cisco iOS. Okay, so what is facility 7? Facility 7 is the network new subsystem. Okay. And the severity is notice. Okay, so as you can see, if we go back over to our reference here, notice is one step above informational. Okay, so it is in reality, say the third most verbose type message, right? And so this is the meat of the Syslog protocol. Very, very simple, yet very effective at delivering messages to us to let us know something's gone wrong. Now, actually designing Syslog server solutions or distributed Syslog servers, that's another video that I will be bringing because this has come have had a couple of requests about designing your Syslog infrastructure. But I wanted to first put out the actual Syslog protocol and distill it instead of just going through tons of documentation and what Syslog is, how it works, and some of the details to get you going. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. You can always reach out to me, Sean at SeanMancini.com, and don't forget to visit my site, SeanMancini.com. Alright guys, talk soon. Thanks. Bye.